I was looking up CEOs when Shan had mentioned it. I'm like, I don't think so. But what I found odd, the three Indian CEOs, and it was only in America, but the three Indian CEOs did in fact marry women with either a doctorate or a master's. The one black dude, uh, his wife, she had a bachelor's and it was in something fucking weird. The white dude is twice divorced, so he don't count.
So I don't have it on hand, but they also talked about how there's a study that was recently released about the marriage bonus. And so what they found was that men who get married throughout the course of their career, their career trajectory takes a higher spike. So they're more frequently considered for raises. Their annual raises are typically, I think they said 30% higher than the unmarried men. And so when people talk about there's no benefit to marriage, there's still a societal um, like appreciation for marriage, especially when it comes to men. So it doesn't surprise me that the majority of CEOs and like top leaders are married because their career trajectory is significantly more challenging to get there without being married. If you're working throughout a corporation, obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, the rules are a little bit different. But if you're working within a corporation, you're taken more seriously as a man when you take responsibility of a household.
Let's be honest, like when you think about the grand scheme of things, right? What is it that you're doing? If you're just a single man, you just go along being a single man, what do you leave behind? It's just like just you. Like you've never had a household. You've never, you were just great at being whatever it is that you were doing. Nobody remembers because nobody's left to remember. Nobody cared that. I mean, you don't have any kids. You don't have any, what are you leading besides yourself? Like it's not a good show of leadership, I guess, community leadership or how you can raise a family, how you head a family. Like what are you leaving behind besides just a trail of damaged good? Like I don't understand that. Like what's the purpose? Because I mean, you ain't doing it like that, because most people who are doing it like that are married. Mostly everybody who's doing it like that, married. It's almost like a class thing, maybe class in marriage. It may be people who are married and just look down like, oh, those peasants. Just out here like little animals just humping each other. Can't control themselves. No discipline.
I know that's kind of funny, but you might be onto something.
I'm everybody in the world's looking at us like, oh, they just cannot get their shit together. Like it's just like they're just like a whole bunch of just stray animals.
Did you see Mistaken face when you said it? She was like, she let the secret out, head ass.
She said what now?
Yeah. Mistaken face when you said maybe they just look down on him like you peasants just walk around screwing everybody. Mistaken was like she knows. She knows.
No, think about it though. Like you just think about it. Just different society. They look down upon you. You have no control over yourself. You have. What are you doing? Like what's really your purpose?
I'm going to be honest, from the outside looking in and see, I have a different perspective because my reality is not what people in these spaces try to present, right? But from the outside looking in, that's exactly what it looks like. Now, we know that there's a historical aspect of the propaganda of, men and women being over sexualized, Black men and women being, over sexualized and stuff like that. So there is a historical aspect to it, but I think it didn't really hold weight because back at that time, back then, it wasn't true, right? We can clearly say that it was not true, right? Because most men and women and that wasn't just giving it up, right? That wasn't the case. But now I think there's a different take on sexuality just in terms of generation and in general. But I think now we are feeding into and giving cause for exactly what Shan is saying. So being on the outside looking in, it does look like we're just effing like rabbits. Men are being irresponsible, got kids everywhere. Women look irresponsible by having multiple baby daddies. Like, it's not a good look by any standard of measure. It just isn't. Now, I'm not saying we're the only ones that are in that situation, but we're the face of it because looking at the stats, we are the ones that are in that situation the most. It's just, I mean, for me in general, being on outside, well, I can't even say I'm on the outside. I'm inside, and I'm able to see from both experiences because I grew up in an area where you would, I'm not going to say expect, but the likelihood of you having multiple baby daddies versus being in an environment where the rules are different, expectations are different, and so you're not having multiple baby daddies that like is frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? So and if social media and TV is the only interaction or things that you have seen in terms of interacting with Black people, you're going to assume that this is Black culture. And I had saw something the other day that said we need to differentiate between ghetto culture and Black culture. Those are two different things. And I think the ghetto culture is representing Black culture, and it shouldn't be.
I remember getting asked that I was shooting blanks because I was 27 and didn't have no kids. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, blanks? Like, no. But to your point, yeah, I think that, and that's probably from the ghetto culture. So, because I was outside in front of the store, they asked me that. Do you think people are more selfish nowadays than they've ever been? Because I think
Absolutely.
that has the most, like, one of the most things to do with it. Because like a family and raising children is a completely selfless act if done right, because you put everybody above yourself, or you prioritize the things that other people need above yourself.
And Marcus, people are praised for being selfish. They're praised for being selfish. We look at that guy who's the bachelor, we put him on a pedestal, like that's right. Like, no, like you're praised for being selfish. At least in this community, you are.
And what you incentivize is really what you prioritize, right? So if you praise people for that or pay them for that, it's a good chance that you'll get a lot of that. Yeah. So you look at social media with the need for everybody to be an individual and stand out and to be as selfish as possible and be rewarded for that. How hard would it be? Like the genie would have to go back in the bottle for people to find, or some major catastrophe or something, for people to find their selfless the side of them. Because I would think once you have, going back to the shotgun marriage thing, right? Once you knew you had a child coming, I think back in the day it kicked in that it's no longer about me, right? I had sex with this girl that I didn't want. That was my mistake. She pregnant. I don't want this child, but she pregnant. So moving forward, I'm just gonna have to be with her because I gotta take care of the kid and do the right thing by this family. Moving forward, it's like, oh, you got pregnant? All right, bye. That's your problem. Like, I really wonder when the mind frame just for the majority of people just switched, where it was like, oh, no, it's acceptable.